Hello everyone, my name is Sakshi. Hope everybody is doing well in their life and everybody is putting a lot of effort into their studies. Okay, so my name is Sakshi. In this lecture, I will be studying you top 100 MCQs for what? Discrete Mathematics Semester Second. So if you are a student of any university and any course, and Discrete Mathematics is your syllabus, so this would be the best video for you to watch it till the end. Okay. So while we covering top 100 MCQs in this lecture, so yeah, let's start without wasting our time. Okay. So question number one, we have in a bipartite graph phases showing vertices from one different particles. Okay. So in the previous video, I have already shared about the bipartite graph and some other types of graph as well. So do let check it out also. Okay. Next question, we have a complete bipartite graph. K23 has is 6. Okay. Just you have to multiply this thing, both thing. Okay. Degree of every vertex in cyclic graph C is 2. Okay. A pendant vertex has degree 1. Okay, pendant is like a kind of leaf you can say. Okay. Okay, so basically the an isolated vertex has degree 0. Degree is what incoming and outgoing number of vertices. Okay, the number of phases, that's called the degree. Okay, so a sum of degrees of all vertices in a graph is always even. Okay, always even, because in a graph it's saying na, if it is the written over here trace, so that not always would be tree. Leaves would be always odd. Okay, leaves have degree 1, so that's applicable for the graph, not for the tray. Okay, so let's start from the next one. A graph is a regular if all vertex have same degree, that's called the. Also if we have all the same okay, this is the same degree, that's telling if all degrees are even, so that actually create a Euler circuit. Okay, K4 as a what? Very regular graph. Okay, a graph having multiple component is called disconnected. Subgraph is formed using subset of vertex and edges. A spanning subgraph contain all vertices. A walk may contain repeated vertex and edges. Okay, a trail contain no repeated edges. A simple path contain no repeated vertices. A closed path is a cycle. Okay, a connected graph with no cycle is called tree. A lot of time they gonna ask you what is a tree. So tree is a connected acyclic graph. Okay, number of phases in a tree with n vertices is n minus 1. Okay, every tree is connected in a cyclic graph. This was the definition that I told earlier. Okay, removing any s from a tree that create basically disconnect the graph, and basically that is called a forest. Okay, adding one is in the tree called connectivity, and this process removing an s from tree makes it disconnected, is called a disconnectivity. So if you do this thing, that will become the forest. Okay, if you add any s to the tree, that actually create a cycle. Okay, that's called the connectivity. Okay, so separability, this is not disconnectivity, so sorry for that, my bad actually, but this is called separability, this is called the connectivity. Okay, a forest in a acyclic graph is what? Disconnected graph. Okay, a spanning tree of connected graph is what? A subgraph containing all vertices and no cycle. Okay, a graph may have many spanning trees, more than one. Okay, more than one, always more than one. Okay, next question we have Kruskal algo is based on Grady algo. Okay, Prim's algo start from a vertex. Okay, the minimum spanning tree of a weighted graph has minimum possible total weight. Okay, a bridge in a graph is an edge whose removal increases what? Number of component. Basically it increase with basically it I mean it creates some sorts of forest. Okay, so an articulation point is a vertex whose removal disconnect graph. Okay, a graph without articulation point is called non-separable graph. Euler trait exists if graph has exactly two odd vertices. Okay, and Euler circuit start and end from the same vertex. That's why it's circuit. Okay, not a graph. This is circuit. Hamiltonian circuit exactly visit every vertex exactly once. A graph containing Hamiltonian cycle is Hamiltonian called graph. Okay, Every complete graph K for n is greater than 2 is Hamiltonian. Okay. Chinese postman problem deals with what? Traversing every edge with minimum cost. Traveling cells for problem asks shortest Hamiltonian cycle. A graph is a planar if can be drawn without edge crossing. Okay. No crosses you'll see that's called a planar graph. Okay. So otherwise non-planar. Okay, which graph is non-planar? C5. C5 is what? Because it's crossing. It's crossing. It will cross each other. Okay, that's why it is called non-planar. So basically, planar graph you can say K3 is a planar graph. Okay, it's not cutting any edge. It's not cutting any edge. Like I'm showing you with an example over here. I can draw an example. This is what? This is a planar graph. Okay, if edges are not crossing each other, that will become the planar. But for the 5 K5 we have 5 vertices. Okay, they are see they are crossing each other. Let me show you also. They are crossing each other. That's why they are not a what? They are not a planar graph. They are non planar graph. Edges are crossing each other, na? So that's why. Okay, so I think that makes sense. Okay, next question we have K3 is an example of what? Non-planar graph. Okay, no, actually it is a planar graph. Sorry, it is a planar graph. Okay, it's an example of planar graph because edges are not crossing each other, na? Actually, it's a wrong answer checked here. So Euler planar graph is what this is the formula. Okay, in a planar graph, faces are regions formed by plane embedding. Okay, the degree of a face means number of bounding edges. Okay, a graph incomplete if every pair of vertices is adjacent. 44 question number of faces in a complete biprotected graph is mn. Okay, in a directed graph, a path following its direction is called directed path. Next question, strongly connected is directed graph means every pair has direction, directed path both ways. Okay, weakly connected directed graph becomes connected if directions ignored. Okay, topological sorting is applicable for directed acyclic graph. The adjacency matrices is undirected graph is symmetric. Okay, in adjacency matrix entries indices is presence of s. A weighted graph assigns numbers of two edges. Disaster algo cannot be handled negative weights. Okay, only positive weight will be considered. Floyd Warshall algo is used for all pairs shortest paths. BFS visit nodes in level order. Okay, DFS explore graph by going deep before backtracking. Which traversal uses recursion naturally? DFS. A graph with all vertices of what degree cannot be Eulerian. Okay, the center of a graph consists of vertex with minimum eccentricity. Radius of complete graph K is 1. Diameter of complete graph K is 1. The diameter of path P is n minus 1. In a tree, every edge is a bridge. Okay. Every connected graph contain at least one spanning tree. More than one. Okay, always. But at least one. Okay. A binary tree is a tree in which each node has at most two children. Okay, in a binary tree children can be 0 1 and 2. Okay, it depends actually, but maximum would be the 2. The left and right subtree of binary tree can are themselves for binary tree. Okay, that was the important question. Okay, and actually it was asked in my today's exam. Okay, in order traversal of BST gives keys of ascending order. Okay, heap property in max heap state parent is greater than child. Okay, the root of max heap contains maximum element. Binary tree is commonly used in priority queue. Okay, evil tree maintains balance using rotation. A full binary tree with I internal node contain leaves equal to I plus 1. The number of null links in binary tree with a node is called n plus 1. A rooted tree with every internal node having exactly same children is called array tree. Okay. In graph theory, killing means complete subgraph. Okay. Independent set in graph means set of vertices with no adjacent vertices. Okay. Question number 76 we have. Matching in graph is a set of non-adjacent edges. Okay. 77 question, perfect matching covers all vertices. Okay. 78 question number, we have a graph coloring problem is used in all of these. You can use in all of these cases. Okay. Four color theorem applies in planar graph. The complement of a bipartite graph may contain odd cycle. A graph with exactly one vertex of odd degree cannot have Euler circuit. Okay. The sum of all degrees in a planar graph equal to 2e. A graph with no vertex and no edges is called empty graph. Okay. Next question 84, we have a graph with one vertex and no edge is called trivial graph. Okay. And in a simple graph with n vertices, minimum number of edges is 0. Okay. Question number 86, we have a graph is connected if every vertex is reachable from every other vertex. The degree of isolated graph is 0. The degree of pendant vertex is 1. A graph in which every edge has a direction is called directed graph. Okay. In a digraph, self loop contribute to in degree by 1. In a digraph, self loop contribute out degree by 1. Okay. In degree out degree for both the one. So that's why for the loop, if it is undirected, so the degree 2. Okay. In degree out degree, both you have to write it. Okay. In graph where every vertex has same degree is called what? Regular graph. Okay. Next question we have, the Peterson graph is 3 regular graph. Okay. In any graph, number of vertices with odd degree is always even. Okay. A graph containing no cycle is called acyclic graph. That is actually also a tree if it is connected. Okay. Which of the following is always bipartite? Tree is always bipartite. An odd cycle graph is non-bipartite. Okay. K1 is also called as a star graph. A star graph with n leaves has total vertices n plus 1. In a complete graph K, total number of edges is n into n minus 2. So we have done with this 100 questions as well. So I think there was the 5th lecture we have been discussed. In this lecture we have been discussed of 100 MCQs. That was important for the semester exam and also from the interview perspective. Okay, you can go through this for the revision purposes as well. Okay, so that's all in this lecture. Bye bye, see you in the next lecture, and thank you so much for watching this lecture. It means a lot for me, and yeah, all the best for your upcoming examination. So yeah, bye.